following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, everybody. He's a macho. Savage, you're listening to Mike Trash, TrashTalkingRadio.com. The best in the business. So say it, the macho.
Wrestling fans throughout Radio Land, listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com. Every Tuesday from 7 to 10 o'clock, you hear guys like myself, the Ugandan Giant Kamala. And that's my story.
You can hear words to describe the Trash Talking Radio Show from 7 to whenever we get done. It's like using a screwdriver to cut roast beef. This is Flunever Sean, the other half of the Rock and Wrestling Connection. That's the trashy one and the loony one together forever.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ivan Koloff. I'm here to tell you about Mike Talking Trash. With the Trash, 7 to 10. Tuesday night, you got to listen in. It's the best around, the best in town. Alright, hey, this is the Animal. One half of the world famous Take in the Road Warriors. We do them. If you know what's good for you, listen to Trash Talking Radio or else.
Everybody, you're watching Trash Talking Radio. This is Hulk Hogan. Hulk, what do you got to say about Trash Talking Radio?
What am I going to say that I just bought Trash Talking Radio? You're out of the picture, dude. This is my show, and you better watch, because what you going to do when Hulk Hogan's brand new Trash Talking Radio runs wild on you?
This is the Vital Idol, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on TrashTalkingRadio.com. And remember this. When the Vital Idol tells you, it's got to be true. And when it's on the internet, it's got to be real. It's Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. I am the top of pop, the king of swing, the international rock star way above par, the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, the Vital Idol, Classy Mike Trash, and thank you very much.
All right. Looks like we're getting started a little later than I wanted to. Technical difficulty, but we're on. Hey, man, how you doing? All right, we're rocking and rolling now. It took me a little while because I had to figure out what I was doing. The settings changed again, and I've been having outages. I've been having power outages all day, so I didn't know if I was even going to get on, but I think my power's out right now, but because I have batteries that run in the background, it will keep me going for a couple hours, actually for about 8 hours. So if with a full power outage, so we'll still get going and still have it all together, and once and for all, I will defeat the power gods. Anyway, they like to play with my head every couple hours, or it was about every 15 minutes I was seeing a power outage. And I think they were trying to turn the power back on, and because I have batteries that back up the house, I was on the whole time. But it's very annoying when you're trying to like do things, and all of a sudden your lights flicker like they're going to go off, and they don't go off, and then it resets my TiVo, and it gets really kind of aggravating. But hey, we're here, and you're here too, so that's fun. And I saw Mike Fompkin in the room, and that's fun too. So it was nice to see him show up for the show. And tonight's show is going to be interesting because we had 2 people die. No points were awarded. And we actually had, there's 2 other people that died too, but I didn't get them done in time for our show. So we'll have them on. Well, we won't have them on. We'll have pictures of them on next week. It looks like Cheyenne is coming down here to bug me a little bit. But anyway, we're going to try to get things going. And hi to Tina, and hopefully Doc's okay. And hope he had a good birthday, since I didn't get to see him. So let's get things rolling here, I guess. I can put this away because I don't need it anymore. And let's see, where are we going to start? I guess we'd start with the deaths. Why not the deaths? We have two deaths we're going to talk about today. One you might know, and the other one you might know. They're not, neither of these two people, depending what generation you're in, you may not have known them. Doc probably knows the one. The other one, I knew who he was, but I didn't really know a lot about him, except that I knew he was a recording artist. What do you want? You want a treat? I can do that. I can do that before we get started. My dog is bugging me. Here. Don't you be a snob. I got to show what I'm doing. I don't need you to be a snob. You get what you get, okay? Don't be a snob. All right. First person we're going to talk about is Roger Whittaker. I knew the name. I didn't know why I knew the name, but I knew the name. And now you'll know the name, too, if you didn't already. Does anybody in the chat room know who he is? Kind of interesting to find out if anyone does. I wasn't sure who he was until I knew he was a musician. I couldn't name a single song that he did. And I didn't realize he was this old, so he was 87. So here we go. This is Roger Whittaker.
Roger Whittaker. Born on March 22, 1936. Died September 13, 2023. Roger Whittaker, a melodic voice that touched hearts worldwide. Roger Whittaker, the celebrated British singer-songwriter known for his soothing voice and timeless melodies, passed away on September 13, 2023 at the age of 87. His music, spanning several decades, resonated with audiences across the globe and left an indelible mark on the world of folk and popular music. Born on March 22, 1936, in Nairobi, Kenya, Roger Whittaker's journey to musical stardom was marked by a unique blend of talent and dedication. His early life was immersed in the rich cultural tapestry of East Africa, and this diversity of experiences would later find expression in his music. Whittaker's career took flight in the 1960s when he released his debut album, Whistle Stop. His ability to combine folk, pop, and country influences, often accompanied by his signature acoustic guitar, struck a chord with listeners. Hits like Durham Town, Believin', and New World in the Morning catapulted him to international fame. One of his most iconic songs, The Last Farewell, released in 1975, became a global sensation. Its haunting lyrics and Whittaker's emotive delivery resonated with people from all walks of life, making it an enduring classic. Throughout his career, Roger Whittaker's music conveyed themes of love, nostalgia, and a deep connection to the world around us. He was not only a gifted vocalist but also a skilled songwriter, composing many of his own songs. Beyond his musical talents, Whittaker was known for his warmth and humility. He connected with his audience on a personal level, and his concerts were more than just performances, they were gatherings of friends brought together by music. Roger Whittaker's impact on the music industry cannot be overstated. He received numerous accolades and awards during his career, including multiple gold and platinum records. His songs continue to be covered by artists around the world, a testament to their enduring appeal. As we bid farewell to this musical legend, we remember Roger Whittaker not just for his incredible voice and songwriting but also for the way his music touched our hearts, providing solace and inspiration. His melodies will continue to be cherished by generations to come, a testament to the timelessness of his artistry. Roger Whittaker is survived by his wife, 2 sons, and 3 daughters, and his memory will forever live on through the melodies that brought joy and comfort to countless souls. In the words of one of his own songs, "I don't believe in if anymore," and indeed, Roger Whittaker's legacy is a certainty, a legacy of beautiful music that will never fade away. Rest in peace, Roger Whittaker. Your music will forever be a guiding light in the hearts of those who had followed and loved you.
All right, that's the first one. All right, so that's one. And the other one, I don't know how many people are going to know this guy. I knew of him, but I never really, I don't think I knew him. Like when I worked on the circuit, he wasn't working around this area. So the other guy was a wrestler by the name of Bart Sawyer. Now, a couple weeks ago, we had a Sawyer on, and it wasn't him. It was another Sawyer. It was Brett Sawyer, I think. So here is another one now. Oh, by the way, I'll tell you a story after this is over.
Bart Sawyer, born on May 29, 1966. Died on September 12, 2023. Bart Sawyer, a professional wrestler, was a prominent figure in the wrestling world during the late 20th century. While not achieving the same level of mainstream fame as some of the industry's biggest names, his dedication and contributions to wrestling left an impact on fans and fellow wrestlers alike. Born on May 29, 1966, in Medford, Oregon, Bart Sawyer began his wrestling journey in the late 1980s. He gained early experience by working for various regional promotions, learning the ropes and honing his skills in the squared circle. Bart's tenacity and love for wrestling were evident from the beginning. Sawyer's wrestling style was characterized by his athleticism and agility. He possessed the ability to execute high-flying maneuvers and technical moves that captivated audiences. His in-ring performances were known for their excitement and energy, making him a favorite among fans who appreciated his dynamic wrestling style. Throughout his career, Bart Sawyer competed in various wrestling promotions, including Pacific Northwest Wrestling, PNW, and United States Wrestling Association, USWA. He engaged in feuds with a range of opponents, contributing to the drama and storytelling that define professional wrestling. While Bart Sawyer may not have achieved household name status, he earned the respect of fellow wrestlers and fans for his dedication to the craft. He was a fixture in the independent wrestling scene, where his talent and passion shone brightly. It's important to note that the wrestling industry often involves both triumphs and challenges. Wrestlers like Bart Sawyer dedicated their lives to entertaining fans while enduring the physical toll that comes with the profession. Bart Sawyer's legacy will live on for those who were lucky enough to see him perform. We send our thoughts to the friends and family.
So that was Bart Sawyer. All right, so that's two Sawyers in a month that we lost. How you doing, Christine? Christina? Tina? And I see. Let's see. We have Tina, and we have Ann in the chat room that I know for sure. Mike Fompkin was on there earlier, and I don't know who else is there because I can't really see. Let's see, who's that? Oh, this guy passed away. Oh, yeah, that's the guy I'm going to do next week. Yeah. I'm going to do this one. If Dawn is listening, I'm going to do this one next week, I believe. Because I didn't get time to do that. I got two for next week already, and the week isn't even over. The day isn't even over. Anyway, this is kind of interesting because I find that people that since I've been doing these things, my numbers have been going up. So when I've been doing these videos for the RIPs and stuff, a lot of people seem to. I had a lot of hits on certain people, like Bray Wyatt. I had so many hits. I had last time I looked, it was 8,100 hits, which is pretty good for me because I don't usually have that kind of numbers. But I figured out that that's where I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to get people to listen to these clips. I'm going to have to make them. I'm going to have to do the show in smaller clips, I think, so that people will listen to them because people don't have an attention span anymore. You know, we got the thing where these people you got to have a quick hit and be done. So I'm going to figure something out with that. But I have two more for next week. One of them, where did I put it? I have two more that I'm going to do for next week. At least two more people died because they died today and they died yesterday or the day before. I didn't have time to do the RIPs. So yeah, CTE, yes. I need to talk to her. I'm going to do a thing on CTE in the upcoming weeks, and actually I'm going to have Tina on to talk about that because she knows all about it, and she's been through it, and she can tell you all the things you need to know about CTE, things you never even thought you'd need to know, but things that are really important. I experienced CTE with some of my friends, one of my friends who killed himself a couple years ago. And he killed his wife too, which really was sad because their 2 kids had to find him. So I want to talk about CTE in the next couple of weeks, and I keep saying I'm going to do that, and I am going to do it because I'm going to sit down and figure this thing out and make sure that that I can do this right. I may even pre-record a segment or 2 just so that I do it right, so I know it's working. So anyway. So what am I going to talk about today? I got all kinds of things to talk about. I got something I did this weekend. It was really fun. I've been jamming with these guys on a Wednesday night. I call them every other week I call them the Geezers, and then the other weeks I call them just the core band. And we've been doing a lot of jamming since about July, and it's been okay. But I jam Sunday with these guys, and I walk into the place, and I don't know what I'm getting into because I don't know any of these guys. At least with the other band, I knew the drummer before I walked into the thing, and this time I didn't know any of the people before. And we were talking about getting together, I don't know, for about 2 months. And this weekend we finally got together, and it was funny because I'm driving down there, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to get into. I don't know if these guys are good or not. The bass player was saying that the drummer was really good, and the drummer was saying that the bass player was saying that the guitarist was really good, and the guitarist was saying that the bass player was really good, and the drummer was really good, and that they were really tight. And I thought, oh, that's pretty good. I'd like to step into something like that, but you never know because everybody says they're really good. Nobody ever says, well, I want you to jam with me. I know that we're really bad, but we really suck, but we'd like to have you jam with us. They never say that. So you never know what you're getting into when you get into a situation like that. So I got together with them. I got a picture of the day too, by the way. Let's bring the picture of the day up. Okay. Let's see. Where are we going here? No, that's not what I want to do. Doggone it, I want to get out of here. Come on, let me out.
And then I switched to Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds.
No.
I know. Exactly.
Shh. No commercials. They're not going to pay me for the commercial. They don't get a commercial. Okay. Oh, this picture here is me back in 1985-ish, and we were playing a place called the VIP Club, and it was it was fun. But it was a battle of the bands, and we were called in at the last minute because the singer of the one band had a car accident and couldn't perform. So we were asked to perform for that in place of that band. And we thought it was okay. We said, why not? We'll play it. We don't care. And we decided we were going to do it. Well, what we didn't know was that every band in the competition was managed by one guy. So there was no way we were going to win because the one guy wasn't managing us. He was managing every other band. So we get up there and and the other band went first, I think, and they sounded really bad. They were really, really bad. And we thought, oh, this will be easy. And we get up there and we rock the place. Now, at the end of the day, the guys called me aside and they said, you guys were better than they were. And we want to get you back before them, but you lost. And I said, why? Why did we lose? How could we lose if we were better than them? And they said, well, they have more potential than you do. And I said, that doesn't make sense. Because if we win, if we were better, we should have won. And they said, no, we want to have you back before them. We thought you were really good. And I said, if we didn't win, we will never play here again. And we never played there again. In fact, that caused them to, they wanted us back, but it caused my band to break up because I refused to take the loss because they told me that we were better than them. And so that my ego destroyed that band. And we could have played at that place, and that was there were two nice clubs in the area. There was a VIP and there was a Club Met. Well, it was called the Metron at that point. And I wouldn't take the loss. And because of my ego, I ended up losing the best band that I ever had. Well, the best four-piece band I ever had. And it really sucks because we could have been the number one band in this area. And that was, by the way, that was Mike Trash and the Barking Rats. For those of you playing at home. But, you know, it is what it is. And I learned that sometimes ego doesn't fly, because you want to be the best you can. You want to be the best band out there, and when your ego gets in the way, you're never going to win. So I learned a valuable lesson that way, and I will never ever take that for granted again. So anyway, what was the story? Oh yeah, the story was. So anyway, I went on Sunday. I went to check this band out, and I get there and they look like normal guys, and I thought, you know, they're not. I mean, but I'm not either. I'm not like that rock guy there on the screen. I'm quite a bit older, and so I keep thinking about that, and I thought, you know, what the heck? Let's see what they do. I thought, you know, they look like regular people off the streets. Boy, was I wrong. They were a really good band. They really did well. And I worked off of their set list and a lot of songs I never did before. And it came out pretty good. I was really surprised how well we played together. And they're songs that I could learn. It's really not anything that was beyond my ability. And I did all kinds of stuff that I have never done before. It was fun. It was really a lot of fun. And maybe if I have people that want to hear some of the stuff, I'll play it later on the show. But it was definitely fun. So that tells you about the you can't take a book by its cover. Is that what it is? Anyway, you can't judge. Yeah, can't judge a book by its cover, because they were rocking and they were good, and I had the best time I've had in music in a long time. So yeah, I felt energized and felt ready to play, and I felt at home with them, because they definitely were good. So hopefully I'll keep you posted on what's going on. But at this point, I put a set list together for them, and we can see what happens. It's Halloween time, and what did I do? I watched all of the Saw movies that came out, because there's a new one coming out Friday. So I think I saw all the Saw movies. I know I saw 7 of them. And there is a documentary, and then there's a new one coming out Friday. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed that. So that was fun. Anyway, oh, yeah. This is cool. Yep, it's out. The movie that I was in is out. And that is awesome. That is exciting. That is the kind of thing that I want to see the whole movie. It was funny because I've only seen a little bit of the movie. I've seen the parts that I was in, and I saw a couple other parts, but for the most part, it's going to be a whole new movie for me, because I don't know anything about this movie. This guy that did this movie was awesome. It was professional. It was really awesome. They had great equipment. They had a good director. They moved from scene to scene. They didn't screw around. It was really professional, and I thought that was really cool. So I hope to see that where that goes as far as that goes, because I had no idea. So it'll be neat. It'll be neat to see where it goes and all that. But that's it. It was based on a book that was written, which was based on a true story. So everything about it is true, whether I know it or not. So all right, next thing. What's this? Is this the same thing? Yeah. Okay. I put these links and I put these links on the thing, and I can't remember what I did with them, and so I just kind of got to do it by ear and hope that I remember to do it right. All right. Next thing. We'll go to entertainment section. There's all kinds of neat stories today, and yes, hurry back, Tina. Watch it in at full speed, and actually 2 times the speed. All right, where are we at here? All right, here we go. I thought I had more than that. Okay. All right, well, I have less than I thought, but I forget what this was. Oh, this is a new movie that's coming out. It's exciting to me because I'm a wrestling fan, and it's about the it's about the Von Erichs. So Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Lily James, they're all going to be doing a Von Erich movie. So if you don't know about the Von Erichs, then you're not a wrestling fan. But it's really interesting that they have put this movie together, or they're still putting this movie together. They just got the approval to go against the strike and finish their movie. So it's kind of cool because, you know, this is a movie about wrestling, about a wrestling family, probably the biggest wrestling family ever. They could have beaten Vince McMahon at the time if they hadn't let their egos get in control of them, because they were the biggest thing around. They had the biggest territory, and a lot of the names that you see, well, not necessarily today, but a lot of the names that Vince McMahon used came from the Texas area, which is where they were from. So you can get a good taste of what good wrestling is all about. So I liked the wrestling that the Von Erichs had, and that's where the Freebirds came from. One Man Gang came from there. I mean, so many good wrestlers came from that area. And actually, Kerry Von Erich came from there, but I think it talks about the tragedies that they went through with the different sons of the father. The father pushed his sons pretty hard. So Zac Efron's going to be Kevin. Jeremy Allen White is Kerry, and the film follows the rise and fall of the family dynasty, who made a huge impact on the sport from the 1960s to present day. Harris Dixon is David Von Erich. Stanley Simmons, or Simons, I should say, is Mike Von Erich. Holt McCallie is Fritz Von Erich. Moritari, wow, I know her. What does she play as? I've seen her something else. She was Doris. Let's see who she is. I know that name. What did she play as? She played. I know her. Where do I know her from? Oh yeah, she was on ER. Okay, she was Abby on ER. Or Abby. Yeah, on ER. She was Lisa on News Radio. Okay. I knew that name. So, anyway, she's going to be, I believe, the mother. So, it's going to be really interesting to see that movie. Now, I hear that, you already knew. You already knew. Ann already knew. And also I believe that the show that I really, 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 really liked, it was on its second season, called Heels. I think that was canceled as of today, or as of yesterday. And that's sad, because that was a really good show. I hope it gets picked up somewhere else, because the guy that played the Green Arrow is the guy that played the main character on there. And they ended the second season with him being paralyzed. I kind of want him to, come back and be another season. So I guess we're going to see whether that happens or not. Anyway, okay, so that's Maura Tierney is Doris. I think Doris is the mother, and Lily James is Kevin Von Erich's wife, Pam. So it'll be a pretty interesting movie. I will definitely be lining up to watch that movie. So the next thing I have is, I didn't know he was single, but he's married again. Hulk Hogan marries Sky Daly, wife number 3. Man, that guy's going through wives like I go through, actually more than I go through my trash tuxedo jackets. But, it's just funny because I just remember him getting married a couple years ago, and now he's getting married again. So apparently he's not learning his lesson. And that girl, I think she's got to be pretty young. I mean, you figure he's in he's got to be around 68, 69, something like that. And I can't imagine that she's much more than 30. I don't know. Let's see if it says. Let's see. Hogan is a married man again, having walked down the aisle with his new bride, Sky Daly. And the wedding photos are really something to behold. That's going to be interesting, especially if she was a wrestling fan. Because think that she was probably... I'm thinking that she was probably 30 when he was... Or he was probably 30 when she was born, maybe. I don't know. Let's see if they say how old she is, because I really think she can't be that old. When I say her name was Sky Daly, there it is. I don't know how old she was. Let's see if we know. I mean, there can't be too many Sky Daly. How old is Sky Daly? Let's find out. She is, all right, that's not as bad as I thought. She's 45. But still, 45, and he's, let's see, how old is Hulk Hogan? Hulk Hogan, let's see, he's 70. So 45, all right, still, that's not as bad as it could be. So, you figure 25 years isn't horrible. Yeah, I'm happy for them. If they're happy, they're happy. But she's hot. We're told that Hulk and Sky got hitched at their go-to place of worship. Indian Rocks Baptist Church, and Pastor Aaron, Filippone, handled the marrying duties as the wedding officiant. So, as you can see in these photos of the happy couple, they were dressed to the nines on the special day, especially Sky, whose dress came courtesy of Rue de Seins bridal gown collection. Her jewelry collection is also, he was broke right around the time he married his second wife. So but he really kicked in for some money, and he actually made some decent money off of the lawsuit he was in. So he's doing okay now, but he really went through some pretty crappy stuff. So, hey, he was always good for our show. He came on the show twice. He never charged me for being on the show. He was really a cool guy. So I can't down him. And hey, if he can get a girl that's 25 years younger than him, more power to him. But Yeah, so when he was 45, she was being born. Oh, gosh. Oh, that's crazy when you think about that. Oh, man. Anyway, no. When he was 25, she was born. No. Yeah, that's right. When he was 25, she was being born. Okay, that's not so bad, I guess. I don't know. I had a hard time dating people that were like 10 years younger than me, so I don't know. It's funny when you think about things like that. Nick was there. Nick, the son, was there. The daughter was not there, so I guess it's because they decided at the last second to get married. But, he's at a point in his life where he can do, he doesn't have to work anymore. And, of course, she'll probably never have to work if she stays married to him, or if she gets divorced, depending how long. All right, next thing. What do we got here? We got George Clooney. If you want to buy a house, nice place to get a house, you can go to Italy and get one. He's selling his Italian villa. He bought this Italian villa for $10 million. $10 million. I mean, that's just chump change for him, but $10 million for most of us, we can't even imagine making that in our lifetime. And he bought this house for $10 million, but he's selling it. And he's selling it for $100 million. Now there's an investment. There's an investment property you could be proud of. $100 million. That's crazy. $100 million. I can't even imagine $100 million. But there it is. It's on the waterfront. He's packing his bags and leaving Lake Como in the dust. The dude's is said to be unloading his waterfront villa. This is after 2 decades there. The actor's reportedly putting his massive Italian house on the market, according to the Italian outlet Oggi, which is confirmed that it's a local real estate agent purported this to be for sale. And it says here, rumors were going around that in previous years that this is true. The woman Yasmin Basel is saying the rumors are true and is going around in previous years, but this time it's true. She goes on to say that the agency in Milan will be handling the bulk of the transaction, but refuses to say which one. It says here, what she does reveal is that one potential client is very interested in George Clooney's pad, and as much as it's going for, there doesn't seem to be an exact price listed, but the villa is estimated to be worth as much as $100 million last year. But the real estate agent tells Oggi that a more realistic ask is 75 to 85 million. And considering he paid 10 million for it, I would take the money and run if I got 75 million for it. But then again, I'm me, and if I had 75 million, I'd probably take 11 million if I had that house, just to say that I sold this house. But I mean, apparently it's not a very crappy place, because I mean, I'm thinking that place there is worth a little bit of money too, and I'm sure all these places down here by the water are worth quite a bit of money. Oh wait, Launch Gallery. Let's take a look at the gallery. Maybe we'll get to see what this house looks like. I mean, that kind of looks crappy on the roof. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's what roofs look like over there, but it looks like they need a roof. That's another. I'd like the boat. The boat's probably worth 10 million. Okay, so that's really the same picture, just in. There we go. I mean, it kind of looks cool. I wouldn't say no to it. I like how close it is to the water and how far up from the water it is. I'd love to have a balcony and overlooking the water like that. That would be really cool. Oh, it's even well, I don't know. Is that an end lot? I guess it is. So people must load their boats there. Okay, I'm getting a little more interested. I'll have to try to raise the money. Maybe I can do a Kickstarter and raise the money for it, because I want to have a place by the lake. or by the river or whatever. So, yeah, that's crazy. Then we got this neat thing on Twitter. Where is it? Hold on, this won't delete. Oh, there we go. So this thing on Twitter is really cool. I'm an Elon Musk lover, as most people know, and I was told about this really neat AI thing, and so I gotta be careful because I get in trouble whenever the music plays, and it's a couple weeks ago I played some stuff that was the floods that were going on out in Vegas, and I never even really noticed there was music in the background. But that music was, first of all, it was horrible music. Second of all, I was getting dinged by Sony Music. Even after I agreed to let them wipe out the sound of that clip, they still, up to yesterday, or up to a day or two ago, were hitting me up with claims that I violated the music stuff. Now, first off, YouTube is the one that usually hits me up, and almost usually, always, YouTube has been a thorn in my side, and Facebook has never been, for the most part, been a thorn in my side until now. This time, they kept doing it until I finally just deleted the clip. So if you wanted to look at the clip from Vegas, it's not going to be there anymore unless you go to YouTube, because I couldn't take it anymore, because every time I turned around, another clip, another ding or whatever. They were causing me much more headaches than they should have been. Hey, Alicia was actually listening too. That's really cool. That's really nice to see that these people were actually listening to my clip. So, yeah, hold on there. A friend of mine asked, am I on YouTube tonight? Yes, I am on YouTube. Right. Oops. Right now. Oops. I can't spell now. This is a new friend of mine who is she's a model, and she's 71, and she's gorgeous, and she basically is out there trying to establish herself as a model again, because she got out of it and became a married person, and now she wants to get back into it. So I wish her luck. So she's a really neat person. Okay, now, so I get people sending me messages all the time, like, are you on today? Yes, I'm on. What the freak? I'm on every week. I've been on when I felt like I was going to die, and I'd be there. So anyway, here's this clip. This is it says here, Optimus is now capable of self-calibrating its arms and legs. This is amazing to me. I don't know what it's going to do to me. I don't need to have Sony or one of those guys. But so the neat thing about the calibrating hands and stuff is that notice it's picking up these blocks. If it picks up something smaller, or say as a marshmallow, it won't. If it did the same thing to a marshmallow that it does to these blocks, it would crush the marshmallow, and it wouldn't be able to use it efficiently. So they have self-calibrating hands so that when it does the tasks, it'll be done better. Looks like it's sitting right next to me, doesn't it? It's going to come over and grab my head and squish my head or something. But anyway, I'm very interested in this type of thing, because this kind of thing would be awesome, especially like if you turned it into, say, a handicapped person who had hands that were able to be used. It would, they couldn't use their own hands, but they could use this hand or something, or they could have them push them down on their wheelchair or whatever the stuff. Hey, Rod, how you doing? Yeah, I can't answer that because I don't know. I don't know where she is. So, yeah, so this to me is really fascinating to see all the things they can do with this robot thing. And if they make this into something really super, that would be awesome. You know, it just like he's done it with cars. So why can't he do it with anything else? Why can't he do it with a robot? Why can't he do it with, you know, different things? I just think that's really cool that, I don't know if that was the clip I wanted though. Let me see here. There's another clip, wasn't there? I didn't think that was the clip I wanted. I thought the clip I wanted was something else. Let me see here. I just want to be sure before I move on because it's, that must have been it. Huh. Okay. Oh, that would be an interesting 6 things to do if you're barely scraping by financially. Ugh. Yeah. That's kind of weird. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about was, this one's controversial as anything. I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, and I'm a Roger Waters fan. But Roger Waters apparently is in a lot of water, hot water that is. He was supposed to come to Penn State to do a lecture on anti-Semitism. Well, guess what? He was banned from speaking at the University of Pennsylvania because his, well, okay, so this is a question now. I want to talk about today's society. This brings me up to an opinion I have about today and the society of today. So we have this thing where everybody is hurt about everything. So you got to be careful what you say about anything that goes on in your life nowadays, because you know you don't know who's going to be hurt by your, you know, I guess it's called cancel culture. So let's talk about cancel culture. So cancel culture is like, you really can't have an opinion about something and share it with people because somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to be offended. Somebody, you know, and if you're a Roger Waters fan or a Pink Floyd fan, they're not beyond doing controversy. And you just got to know that that's what they do. I mean, they talk about topics that are taboo at points. But the things they talk about aren't, there's nothing wrong with what they're talking about. And the problem is with today's cancel culture, you can't have a conversation. And what they were going to do was going to have a conversation about anti-Semitism, except that nobody wants to have a conversation when it's uncomfortable. So if you don't totally agree with his opinion, or I'm sorry, if you don't totally agree with their opinion, you become the bad guy. Now, if you have never seen The Wall, it would not go over in today's culture like it did when I first saw it in 1980-ish. In 1980, it was a great concert, and it was a great statement that was given by Roger Waters. And to this day, it probably still feels like one of my favorite albums. And it's not my favorite album because it's not my favorite because of let me do something here. All right, let's see here. Got to figure out how I can do this. I want to find my link on, there it is. All right, so I can give her this, and that way she can see the show. Now I just got to figure out how to get there. Okay, so we'll go there. Hold on just a sec. Sorry, I'm taking a swing at this and hoping that I can do this. Because she's never heard the show and she wanted to hear the show. So I like to let people hear the show when they want to hear the show. All right, let's see. Here we go. There. So, there we go. Now, Now, let's see. So what happened here was somebody took things out of context and made him the bad guy. So here's Roger Waters, who's coming into town from presumably England, and he gets to the venue, or he gets to the state, he gets to Pennsylvania, and he finds out he's no longer welcome. Here's the article. It says, Pink Floyd co-founder Roger Waters was banned from speaking at the University of Pennsylvania on campus amid allegations of anti-Semitism for wearing his Nazi-inspired uniform and displaying Nazi imagery at a Berlin concert. Now, he's an 80-year-old singer, and he was supposed to appear at a panel discussion for Palestine. It says for Palestine Rights Literature Festival Saturday. And what happened was that it says after landing in the Keystone State, he posted a video on Instagram saying that he'd been told he would instead appear via Zoom. I was supposed to be taking part in a panel discussion in a couple hours this afternoon, but I've told him not allowed into the Irving Arena, because they made arrangements for me to attend the panel via Zoom. So he ended up going there for nothing. To be on Zoom, he could have been on Zoom anywhere. And the fact that I came here all the way to be present because I care deeply about issues that are being discussed, apparently cuts no ice with the campus police or whoever it is. In the video, Waters is seen thumbing through a copy of the university newspaper, the Daily Pennsylvanian, which has published a story headlined, Palestine Rights Festival Escalates into Campus-Wide Controversy. The Friday article states several Jewish students and community members wrote to school administrators condemning alleged anti-Semitism of speakers at the events. To me, this is just ludicrous. This is just, instead of letting him speak his piece, they decided he wasn't going to be allowed to be on campus. On campus. Like he's going to walk in on campus. My lights are going on and off, so I may end up being lost because, like I said, we've had power issues all day, and the house batteries are keeping my show going. So if I disappear, it's not because I'm not here. It's because, well, maybe Penn State is trying to cut me off from speaking my mind. That's what it is. That's why we're having power issues. They're cutting my power off so that I can't talk. And I fooled them because I have battery backup on my house. So that'll teach you. That's my screw you to Penn State. You can't shut me off. I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to continue to say that cancel culture is going to be the death of us all. Because somebody is going to be somebody's probably upset about me saying cancel culture is going to be the death of us all. And they're going to try to stop me from saying that, and I'm going to keep saying it. In fact, I may even post that somewhere. I should be allowed to give my opinions, and so should he. But see, the thing they don't understand is that if you ever watch The Wall, he isn't pro-Nazis. He's talking about what happened. His father was killed in World War II. He truly is not pro-Nazi. So they didn't seem to understand that it's not what they think. They are totally wrong, so therefore their opinions should not count. If you're going to cancel culture, let's cancel their culture because they're wrong. Anyway, it says here in the letter, Senior Eyal Jacoby wrote the speaker's presence on campus creates a hostile environment for Jewish students ahead of Yom Kippur, one of the holiest days of the Jewish calendar. Pro-Israel activists also descended on the campus, The article states parking Jumbotron trucks and posting videos on TikTok of some of the speakers' past anti-Semitic remarks. You can take anything out of context and make it sound like it's, a bad thing. I'm sure I have said a lot of things that they could take out of context and hang me for. Even if I was opposed to hanging, they could still hang me. Though the article didn't mention Waters by name, the singer appeared disturbed by the assertions, saying the video was that in the video he was struck by newspaper claims that he's anti-Semitic, that the student-run paper was reporting on the controversy as a diversionary tactic that turned into a big news story. Waters argued the newspaper tried to play down a festival about the Palestine literature taking place. If they can get you thinking and talking about anti-Semitism, then you won't be thinking about the fact that the Palestinians have no human rights in the occupied territories. That's what Waters said. And it says here, this is what we should be talking about in the Daily Pennsylvanian, not whether Roger Waters is anti-Semitic or not. And by the way, he's not. I know he's not. Shall I tell you how I know? I am Roger Waters, and this is my heart. And it doesn't even have the slightest flicker of anti-Semitism in it anywhere. The singer came under fire after donning a long black coat, black gloves, and black sunglasses, complete with an armband, a red armband, during a May 17th concert in Berlin. The outfit resembled that of an SS officer. It's crazy. The United States Department subsequently in a statement said Waters has a long track record of using anti-Semitism tropes, and his Berlin concert contained imagery that is deeply offensive to Jewish people and minimized the Holocaust. See, now I never saw that. When I saw it, when I saw The Wall, when I saw the movie The Wall, when I saw the parts of the concert The Wall, that isn't at all what I got out of it. What I got out of it is it was something that was totally personal to him, and he was bringing it to the people as this is how inside his head there were a lot of things going on. He was going through a lot of emotions. He lost his father. There was a lot of things going on in that concert, in that album that he wrote. And it just is a shame that they took a small piece of that concert and they turned it into something that it's not. And it's really a shame because they're closed-minded. And once again, the few outweigh the many. And it's a shame because there's no way that I would have taken it. Yeah, it does show the horrors of the Holocaust, but it was more than that. It was his mind. It was the horrors that went through his mind as he was confused and lost, and as he grew out of, he didn't have a father his whole childhood, and the things that he had to endure mentally, and he had to overcome to come out of his shell. I mean, it's amazing to me that they took something that is not anti-Semitic and decided that that's what it was. And they didn't take the picture as a whole. They took the small corner that had the Nazi stuff. And it just shows that people want to believe what they want to believe. They're going to believe what they want to believe, and they don't care what the truth is. They don't care. Attempts to portray those elements as something else is as disingenuous and politically motivated. The depiction of the unhinged fascist demagogue, I don't even know that word, has been a feature of my shows since Pink Floyd's The Wall in 1980. When I was a child after the war, the name Anne Frank was often spoken in our house. She became a permanent reminder of what happens when fascism is left unchecked. My parents fought the Nazis in World War II, and my father paying the ultimate price. Regardless of the consequences of the attacks against me, I will continue to condemn injustice and all those who perpetrate it. And I think the injustice is the people at Penn State University, because they shut down, and really the losers are the students, because they couldn't have, if that was the case, I would have brought him in and I would have said to him, why did you do this? Why? Explain to me why you dressed in all black with the red armband. And he could have explained it then. And then instead they shut him down, and now we will never know. It's just a shame, because they weren't smart enough to understand the symbolism that he was giving in that show. The symbolism that we can't forget as a people. The symbolism that so many people were destroyed, and yet this is like saying it didn't happen. It's like saying that we're going to change history. The Pilgrims didn't kill the Indians. The white people didn't enslave the black people. Why not just do it all? Just clear the slate. Let's just make everybody have a clean slate. Let the Nazis continue their purpose on this earth. Because if you're going to wipe out history, I mean, what would have happened if the Germans would have won? And the thing is, the symbolism in that show had very little to do with the Nazis. It had more to do with what was going on in his head and his demons that he was trying to fight because of the war. And instead, they decided, no, we can't have that, because it didn't end well. It didn't. Here it says, bigots like water should never be given a stage to spew their venom, whether in person or virtually. This hate fest will be President Liz McGill's legacy and forever staying at Penn. I would imagine the people at Penn State aren't going to probably work anyway, because of the people in today's economy. I mean, you figure people in today's world feel that they're going to get a job spewing TikTok clips and being social media giants. So I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous, and that his freedom of speech has been cut off because of these a-holes who don't have a clue. These people they stop a man from speaking because he has an opinion, and because they're not smart enough to realize that that opinion is not what it appears to be. It's a shame. I once again am amazed that people are that stupid. Just amazes me. And it irritates me to no end, because, I mean, whereas most of my songs are not controversial, it means that, well, I'm sure they could find some controversy in my songs. Won Her Back could be a stalking song. They could say, well, you can't do that song anymore because it talks about stalking a woman. The lyrics are, I see her in the night as she goes to meet her friend. I know that it's not right, but I didn't want to see it end. There she goes by the place where we met. I remember it well. I wonder what's going on inside her head. They would say I was a stalker because of that, because of those lyrics. I'm just amazed at, I shouldn't be. By now I should be used to it. But sometimes I think that logic, if people would just go back to Spock and just look at the way things really are instead of the way that you perceive them, because many times that you don't perceive things. I don't know. The goals of today is to erase history. Yes. I'd like to erase some of my history. I'd like to erase many years of my history. But, we can't do that. We just got to accept what we did and try to do better. And I don't know. Those people, I just think that people are they amaze me that they have the opinions that they do, because it's sad that the few can change the opinions of the mass by misrepresenting what is really there. I don't know. I like Roger Waters, and I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that he's that bad of a person, because the things he's done for people. I don't know. I just think that it sucks that the few people can have that much power. So anyway, I'll move on. Speaking of influencers, here's an influencer who had a meltdown on a flight, and she's someone that says, "I'm Instagram famous." Now, you know that if they say they're Instagram famous, nobody knows who they are. And it's funny to me that people feel that they're entitled because they're Instagram famous. Nobody cares about Instagram famous people. I mean, advertisers do, because they'll pay Instagram people to do things. But this woman here, she thinks she's special because she's Instagram famous. And she tried to get the best of a situation. And the problem is that nobody cares that she's Instagram famous except for her. And if you have to say, if I go somewhere, let's say if Hulk Hogan goes somewhere, he never has to say, I'm famous for being a wrestler. Everyone knows he's famous for being a wrestler. You don't have to tell him, I'm famous for being a wrestler. But if you have to tell him why you're famous, you're not really famous. It'd be like me saying I'm famous because I was in wrestling for, 12 years. If I have to tell you that means I'm probably not really famous. But this person feels that she's famous, and here's the story. The Bad Girls Club alum behavior went way over the top. Influencer Morgan Osborne, who claimed to have dated Britney Spears' hubby Sam Asghari following their divorce announcement, is being ripped online after she was filmed calling herself Instagram famous while throwing a tantrum aboard a flight. The 35-year-old designer, who appeared as Oxygen's The Bad Girls Club, recently confirmed her identity in a statement in the Post. "It's me," declared Osborne, who regularly uploads saucy bikini pics for nearly 1 million followers on Instagram. And I'll tell you what, most of those guys don't care what your name is. All they want to do is see skin. That's it. They don't want to hear your voice. They don't want to hear you say anything. All they want is for you just to be next to naked on your bikini. I'm telling you that. And as a guy, I could care less whether you're Instagram famous or not. The clip currently blowing up on Reddit shows the fashionista, is what I've never heard that word before, fashionista, exchanging words with an off-screen passenger while grabbing her bags aboard an unspecified American Airlines flight. "Call me a B/H." Again, the Miami, Florida native dares the videographer guffaws in the background. "I did nothing," she continues, after which the flyer tells her to shut up. In response, Osborne tells the passengers, "Shut the F up," before walking away with her bag. Things come to a head after the social media celeb notices the passenger filming. Wait a minute, hold on here. I hate when these boxes show up. Notices the passenger filming the exchange, whereas she sarcastically exclaims, "Film me. I'm Instagram famous, you F king bum." The clip concludes with onlookers collapsing into laughter as the woman tells the cabin to shut the F up. It's unclear what prompted the altercation. However, Osmond's antics made a laughingstock on Reddit, despite people not knowing her identity at the time. If you tell people you're famous, you're not famous, said one critic. Another one wrote, famous but still flying coach. Hope she gets banned from flying for such disgusting behavior. You know, if you're effing famous, you should fly in the nice section. It's really funny that she flew coach after all that, you know. Oh, man. These people are amazing to me. I don't know. I just don't understand it. You know, she's famous. Oh, I must have already did this. I don't even know what I did anymore. Yeah, I already did that. All right. So that amuses me that she said that she's, I think, famous. I mean, you don't have to tell Roger Waters that he's famous. You don't have, or Roger Waters doesn't have to tell anybody that he's famous. He just says he's Roger Waters, and if you don't know who he is, then you're an idiot and you don't follow anything. But yeah, she has to tell everybody that she's famous. So, there we go. All right, next. Let's see, I can get rid of this too, I guess. All right. All right, next thing. Now we got all kinds of stuff here. Okay. Oh, yeah, I had to remember what this was. I captured this one and forgot what it was. So this company opened up a restaurant, and they get a nasty note. We're not going anywhere. New business in Grand Rapids says they're receiving, says they were here after receiving a hateful note. Rita's Chicken, oh, I'm sorry, not Rita's, Rika's Chicken has moved to Northeast Grand Rapids, but after celebrating their soft open, received a note telling them to fit in or be driven out. Oh man, people are vicious. Now, the reason why they are driven out or want to be the reason they want to drive them out is not clear from the initial speaking here. Oh, wait, I saw Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's has a new movie coming out. I don't remember what it's going to be called, but I know he has a new movie coming out. Anyway, I got a cough, so let me put myself on hold here. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Now we just got to click this in. And it says here, Rika's Chicken has moved from Wyoming to Creston neighborhood in Northeast Grand Rapids. The restaurant, it was 9 months in the making.
This digital age is unbelievable.
Figure out what that is.
But not everyone's living in it.
All right, I gotta figure out how
home
to
internet shouldn't be a luxury. Everyone should have it.
Just by hitting the button.
And now, more people can.
Cutting out the noise. Wait a minute. Oh, I guess I don't need to.
Well, the owner of a new restaurant preparing to open in Grand Rapids' Creston neighborhood is speaking out after someone left a threatening note there. 13 on your side's Jeremiah Brown spoke with the owner about the note and the message inside. He joins us now. Jeremiah.
Rika's Chicken off Coit Avenue in Creston just had its soft opening, but soon after, a neighbor found a note left next to the front door, and on it was a list of complaints, and at the end, they were told to fit in or be driven out.
It was cruel, unprofessional, and unnecessary, honestly. It's just crazy how people still are.
9 months in the making, a family business has turned an empty building into a new place for opportunity.
I would go there.
They had launched with their soft opening on Saturday, but as they prepare to fully open, they were not expecting what came next.
They said they were going to drive us out.
A neighbor found a note outside of the business with a long list of complaints
You're
about
not
trash
wanted
and
in
noise.
this
The note
quiet residential neighborhood. Leaving your trash in the parking lot. Selling liquor without a license, keeping your cannabis-related stuff out of our neighborhood.
So said the business was not welcome in the neighborhood.
I actually had a couple ladies come in yesterday. I was here and asked if she give me a hug and saying that's not, they're happy we're here and thank you for opening up a new restaurant here. And she just said,
No, it's kind of funny because you look in the mirror in the window and you see this church in the background. So here's this business that people don't want in their neighborhood, and it's a church right across the street, and they.
Can I give you a hug? We appreciate you guys, and we love that you're here.
The people we talked with in the neighborhood said they are happy about the new business, saying the person who wrote the note does not represent their community.
It seems like they completely transformed the whole place, cleaned it up from a mess, and now it looks really nice in there, and yeah, I would say thank you and shake their hand.
Although disheartened, it does not change their plans to serve the best chicken in town.
Awesome. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere.
For the ones who support us, thank you for sure. We have the best chicken in town, hands down.
That's awesome.
Rika's Chicken will fully open on September 19th at 5 p.m. as they want to extend their gratitude to those who have welcomed them into their new neighborhood. From the newsroom, I'm Jeremiah Brown, 13 on your side.
That's awesome that they won't, they aren't intimidated by the idiots that want to make them go away. Some people just have no couth. And it's just a shame that they even have to deal with people like that. But, you're always going to have the haters. You're always going to have the people that are complaining. And it's always the, 5% people that cause the 95% people to look bad. Like Roger Waters, There's 5% that probably are upset by the fact that they aren't smart enough to understand what it's about. And this place here, if they have a nice chicken place and it's across the street from a church that probably after they're done with church, they want to go eat, and there's a good place to be. And they said that building was wrecked before they got it. So I think it's cool. If I lived in Grand Rapids, I'd go there too. As long as it's not this chicken that they're cooking up, this chicken in the window. This chicken in the window looks pretty happy. So I want my chicken to be not real happy. All right, next thing. So that one I think I had from 2 weeks ago, and I just didn't get to put it. What was this? This is a sad one. NWA woman arrested for allegedly leaving a dog trapped in a shower. Now, first off, this woman was arrested in Arkansas. She was arrested for leaving her dog trapped in the shower before abandoning the home. Now, if you're going to leave your house, find a place for your dog. Don't leave the dog there. I hate when people abandon animals. There's just no reason for that. And it makes me sad that somebody would actually, I could never, ever abandon my dog. I mean, if it's between me and my dog eating, my dog's going to eat. If it's between me and my dog sleeping in a tent, my dog's going to get the tent. So, because the dog didn't do anything wrong. There's no reason why this dog should suffer because somebody's an idiot. And I'm glad they arrested her because, she, I guess, just lost her house. So now she lost her house and she got arrested. So it says here, a Springdale woman was arrested for allegedly leaving her dog trapped in a shower before abandoning the home. And I can't even try to pronounce her name. It looks like Jalicia Unique Finnessy, 22, was booked on September 11th in Washington County on one count of animal cruelty. She was released around 3 hours later on a $1,500 bond. So I guess she had to have $150 to get out of there. The police report said that July officers responded to her place after she had been evicted. She, upon entering the residence, they discovered a dog described in the report as a bridle, white, female pit bull boxer type. The dog was reportedly closed inside the shower and was not able to get out because the shower had a sliding glass door. I mean, really, seriously, if you're gonna do, why, you know, if you're gonna go to that extreme, why not just let the dog run through the house or something? I mean, just to put it in a captive area like that, that's just, I don't know. I just think that people like that don't deserve animals. So they should put her in jail in a small room like that and let her stay in a small room like that. Additionally, the police said that the dog did not have access to food or water while in the shower, and it's highly unlikely that the dog closed the door itself. She appeared in, has a court appearance scheduled for October 16th, and the dog was impounded. So it's not the dog's fault, though. I mean, that's really sad that this idiot... I mean, I can't imagine letting a poor dog have to deal with that. Dog doesn't understand what's going on. Okay. This one is really sick. This is from last week, too, that I didn't get to. Disturbing video. Teens chuckle. Fatally mowed down a bicyclist. Caught on video. Now, this is a sad story. This bicyclist was a police officer who moved to the town because he retired. And he was just riding his bicycle. And these kids thought, oh, boy, we can hit this guy. And they killed him. They killed the guy because they thought it was funny. And that guy, you know, didn't deserve it. This is the video of it. I think this is the video of it.
Fuck wrong with Bud?
They're just driving down the road.
Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass. Knocked out. Get out of here. Put the address. They can get Jones.
Now here's the stupid part. They videoed it in the car, and
this is going to be
they got caught.
The world's
and
toughest
they got caught with their own video. Two teens were heard laughing on a video as they deliberately plowed a car into a cyclist in Nevada, killing the man, a retired police chief. 17-year-old driver and his passenger were cruising down a street in Las Vegas on August 14th, coming up behind Andreas Probst as he rode his cycle in the bike lane. Filming with a cell phone, the passenger was chuckling with the driver as they plotted to run over Probst. You could hear him say, "Ready? Yeah, hit his ass." Moments later, the driver crashed into Probst, causing him to fly up onto the windshield before tumbling to the ground. Probst was rushed to the local hospital where he was pronounced dead. He reportedly moved to Vegas after retiring as chief from the California Bell Police Department in 2009. The teens fled, but the driver was soon arrested for hit and run. The charges were later upgraded to include murder when the video recently surfaced online showing the crime was intentional. It wasn't clear if the passenger was charged. I think the passenger should have been charged too, because he's laughing at it and he was into it as much as the other guy was, and it just doesn't make sense on why somebody would do that. I just can't get it through my head, you know, because I mean, I understand that some kids are messed up, but you don't want to kill somebody, and you don't want to. I mean, if the guy had done something to him, I still wouldn't say it was worth killing him, and it wouldn't be worth hitting him, but the mindset of people today, kids today, is that they can do whatever they want and no one's ever going to catch them. I'm just glad that they were stupid enough to video it on their phone. Let's see. Louisiana prisoner suit claims they're forced to endure dangerous conditions at Angola prison farm. Hey, you know, if you do things that send you to prison, I'm sorry. I don't have much pity for you. I mean, I think that the people that hit that cop deserve to go to this particular prison, because if they're hardcore, you know, they deserve to pay for it one way or another. And if you just let somebody get off with you know, oh, it's okay, you can just don't do it again, that's not going to happen. The only way anyone's going to ever remember that they did something wrong is if they have to pay for it. So this is Baton Rouge. Men incarcerated at Louisiana State Penitentiary filed a class action suit Saturday contending that they have been forced to work in the prison fields for little or no pay, even when temperatures soar past 100 degrees. They described the conditions as cruel, degrading, and often dangerous. The men, most of whom are black, work on a farm that there's 1,800 acres maximum security prison known as Angola, the site of a former slave plantation, hoeing, weeding, picking crops by hand, often surrounded by armed guards. If they refuse to work or fail to meet quotas, they can be sent to solitary confinement or otherwise punished. The labor serves no legitimate institutional purpose. The suit said it's purely punitive, designed to break incarcerated men and ensure their submission. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, because chances are they did something pretty bad to get in there. It names defendants as Angola's warden, Timothy Hooper, and officials with Louisiana State Department of Corrections and its money-making arm, which is Prison Enterprises. Ken Pastorick, a spokesman for the State Department of Public Safety and Corrections, said the department hasn't officially been served with the suit. We cannot comment on something that we have not seen nor had any opportunity to review. The United States has historically locked up more people than any other country, more than 2.2 million inmates in the federal and state prisons. They can be forced to work because of the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which abolished slavery after the Civil War, made an exception for those duly convicted of a crime. The plaintiffs include 4 men who formerly or currently working on the fields, along with voice of the experienced, an organization made up of currently or formerly incarcerated people, around 150 who are still at Angola. The suit said the work is especially dangerous for those with disabilities and health conditions in the summer months. If you didn't do what you did, you wouldn't be there. So, I don't know. I don't have much sympathy for them because they got there for a reason. So, you don't like it? Just don't do the work and then get put in solitary. That's the way I look at it. This one I don't really understand. So I'm pro police force, first off, but this one I can't quite understand how they got cleared of what they did. But they did. And the story is this. In 2017, police officers went to the wrong house. So, hold on here. It says here, a Mississippi jury has rejected a lawsuit seeking money damages from two officers who fatally shot a man while serving a warrant at the wrong house. Federal court in Oxford on Thursday ruled that the South Haven officers Zachary Durden and Samuel Mays have not violated the civil rights of Ismail Lopez when Durden shot him to death in 2017. The verdict came after a 4-day trial in a lawsuit by Claudia Linares, the widow of Lopez, who sought $20 million in compensation. The verdict was that the jurors did not believe that the use of force used by officers Durden and Mays was excessive in light of the facts that were all considered. So I got two things going on here. First off, she's asking for $20 million. That's a lot of money. But we'll get to that later on. The case was notable because because of the city in South Haven had previously argued that Lopez had no rights to violate because the Mexican man was living in the United States illegally and faced deportation orders and criminal charges for illegally possessing guns. A judge rejected that argument in 2020, finding the constitutional rights apply to all persons. The city of South Haven and now retired South Haven Police Steve Purtell were dismissed from the case in June after a senior U.S. District Judge Michael P. Mills found they weren't liable for the officer's action under federal law. According to the report by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, Lopez and Linares were in bed on July 24th, 2017, when the officers knocked on the door of the trailer. The officers were intending to serve a domestic violence warrant on a neighbor across the street, but got the addresses confused. Officers told the state investigators they knocked at the door without identifying themselves. The door opened, a dog ran out, and Lopez pointed a rifle through the cracked door. The officers said Mays shot the dog, and then, in quick succession, Durden fired multiple shots at Lopez. A third officer on the scene told investigators he heard Durden order Lopez to drop the rifle several times before shooting Lopez. The 41-year-old man died from a bullet that struck him in the rear of his skull, more than 6 feet from the door. The police said he was running away. Lawyers for Lopez, who died before he could be taken to the hospital, have disputed that he pointed the gun at the officers. He noted that his fingerprints and DNA were not found on the rifle, which was recovered more than 6 feet away from his body. It suggested that Durden shot Lopez because the officer was reacting to Mays shooting the dog. When state investigators arrived, they found Lopez lying dead in a prone position with his hands cuffed behind his back in the middle of the living room. A rifle was lying on the couch. After the shooting, a grand jury declined to indict anyone in that case. South Haven Mayor Darren Musselwhite, in a statement, again offered his condolences to the family of Lopez, but praised the outcome. The verdict proves that we believed to be correct since day one was our officers responded appropriately. See, I don't see, that one's a pretty, I want to go back here and make sure I got all the names correctly. So, Durden and Mays shot the dog. Well, Mays shot the dog. The guy stuck a gun out the door. But the gun didn't have his fingerprints on it. That bothers me that the guy's fingerprints were not on that gun. How could he, I don't think he had the gun. And I don't see how they could make that. They noted fingerprints and DNA were not found on the rifle, which was recovered more than 6 feet away from his body. That tells me either there was another gun or he didn't have that gun. So I think there was something more going on here, and they should not have been let go out of this. There's definitely more than it appears in this. And I feel bad for her. I think $20 million was a lot more than he. See, the thing that's the one thing that bothers me, and we'll be getting to that later on, because something that that I'm going to talk about later on happened, and there was a big lawsuit, amount of money that was put in a lawsuit, and we'll talk about that when I get there. Now, if you know what AirTags are kind of cool. An AirTag, if you put it on your luggage, you can track your luggage. If you put it in your car, you can track your car. No matter what you do with the AirTag, it's kind of a cool thing. However, there are bad things about the AirTags too. Other people can track your things too. So that's something to be considering, that AirTags they're kind of cool, but there are times they can be used as bad things. In this particular case, it's saved the guy a lot of hassle that he had AirTags on his luggage. But it turned out better for him than it would have turned out, because the airport, or the airplane, not the airplane, not the airport, not the airplane. Hold on here. Let me save this here. Okay. All right. Now, so this guy, he used an AirTag to locate thousands of dollars worth of golfing gear. Now, first off, that's crazy just to have that much golfing gear while traveling to Ireland, but getting it back was a nightmare. So the says Terry Argue, that's a good name, a Tulsa resident, told Insider that before traveling for his bucket list vacation at the end of June, he added an Apple AirTag to his golf bag for the first time as an experiment. It wound up helping him discover that his clubs were not flying along with him as he boarded the connecting flight from Toronto to Dublin. Argue said that he asked a flight attendant if they could help him somehow, but he was told that the situation was out of their hands. Instead, he was told he had to wait until he landed in Dublin to begin following up with the airlines, and was assured they could send his luggage over on the next flight. That didn't happen. I got to Dublin, and sure enough, it didn't show up. He filled out a form, and he was told he would receive updates about the status of his golf bag. But 9 days went by and no updates from the airlines. He told Insider that he made daily calls to Air Canada, United Airlines, and Toronto Pearson International Airport during the 9-day wait. He spent his vacation with replacement golfing gear, which he said cost him a couple $1,000. He said the most painful thing in the whole trip was having to play all those fantastic courses that you've been looking forward to and planning, and not having your own clubs. That was the worst part. I don't know if that would be the worst part to me, but he said his clubs and gear sat in Toronto Airport until he flew home at the beginning of July. Then, when boarding a connecting flight from Toronto to Chicago, he said the AirTag showed his bag finally moving, except now it was being loaded into a plane 2 gates over from him on its way to Dublin. Argue said staff told him there was nothing they could do about it. Immediately after making its way to Dublin, Argue said a helpful worker sent his golf bag back to Toronto Pearson. After arriving in Canada, it sat idle for another 5 days. Argue says he believes he got his bag back because of a United manager in Tulsa who eventually reached out and demanded that United staff in Canada send it over. As it was told to me, he got very belligerent or irate with his counterpart in Toronto, basically saying, how difficult is it to go and pick up that bag and put it on an airplane? There's a picture of it. It shows exactly where it is. Just go to it, and we can get this bag to this gentleman and put this case to rest. Finally, Argue picked his bag up from Tulsa International Airport. He said he's now waiting for a response on a claim he filed for July 2nd for expenses incurred while golfing in Ireland without his gear. Anybody can misplace a bag. I certainly don't fault anyone for that. But the problem is really the lack of effort from customer service. He called it customer no service. That was provided for a simple solution. And I think the airlines have adapted to the fact that people are doing things like this to track their bags. While using the AirTags to track luggage has increased over years, as airlines deal with more and more travelers and staffing shortages, in January, Insider reported that Google searches of Apple AirTags for luggage has grown to over 5,000% the last year. Insider has reported multiple instances where travelers have been able to use their AirTags to recover their belongings. A woman tracked her daughter's lacrosse gear. A man watched his wallet travel over 35 cities on an American Airlines plane. And a boy lost his $12,000 bike and was able to retrieve it. The use of AirTags by passengers has been controversial for some airlines. In 2022, a German airline, Lufthansa, reportedly told passengers to turn off their AirTags, citing concerns that their technology was dangerous on the plane. The company later lifted the ban, and the Federal Aviation Administration cleared AirTags to be safe on flights immediately after. United Airlines, Air Canada, Toronto Pearson International Airport did not immediately respond to the questions, but I would be frustrated too, but he should just be happy he got it back, because a lot of people don't get their stuff back. But that'd be crazy to go over there just to play golf and not have your golf clubs. Oh, and I don't know what he was hoping to get back from the airplane or from the airport, but I would imagine he wanted quite a bit of money to get it back. Let's see here. Oh, so recently the government, state government, some of the state governments have made it illegal to have abortions for any reason. And here was a reason that is very controversial, and it really is hard for me to accept the government making it their business for this, especially this particular reason. And what this whole thing is about is the government's being sued. Actually, the hospital system's being sued because, it says Indiana Attorney General sues hospital system over the privacy of an Ohio girl who traveled for an abortion. Now, this isn't just an Ohio girl. Indiana's Attorney General has sued the state's largest hospital system, claiming it violated patient privacy when a doctor publicly shared the story of an Ohio girl who traveled to Indiana for an abortion. The lawsuit, filed Friday in Indianapolis federal court, marked Attorney General Todd Rokita's attempt to seek disciplinary legal action against Dr. Caitlin Bernard. The doctor's account of a 10-year-old rape victim traveling to Indiana to receive abortion drugs became a flashpoint in the abortion debate days after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. Rokita, a Republican, is stridently anti-abortion, and Indiana was the first state to approve abortion restrictions after the court's decision. The near total abortion ban took effect after legal battles. Neither the 10-year-old nor her mother gave doctor authorization to speak to the media about their case. Rather than protecting the patient, the hospital chose to protect the doctor and itself. The lawsuit named Indiana University Health and IU Healthcare Associates. It alleged the hospital system violated HIPAA and the Federal Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And the law is not a state law for not protecting the patient's information. Indiana's Medical Licensing Board reprimanded Bernard in May, saying she didn't abide by the privacy laws by taking publicly the girl's treatment. It was far from short of the medical license suspension that Rakita's office sent. Still, the board's decision received widespread criticism from medical groups and others who called it a move to intimidate doctors. The hospital officials have argued that Bernard didn't violate privacy laws. We continue to be disappointed, blah, blah, blah. In July, a 28-year-old man was sentenced to life in prison for the child's rape. So, I mean, that leaves you to wonder, first off, it was a 10-year-old who got raped and by a 28-year-old, and she wouldn't really be able to have an abortion by the current laws. And so she went to another state where she could get that abortion, and her information was then used as a publicity thing to keep the woman, to keep the license, to practice medicine. She had to give up the name of the girl. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't have to like justify it. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's pretty cut and dry. The girl didn't deserve to be raped. And the girl being 10, oh man, I had a friend, actually I dated this girl for about a month, I guess. She was telling me about being raised by her grandmother. And she said her and her sister were raised by her grandmother. Her sister was like 10 or 12 years older than her. And she said it was really, it messed with her head when she found out that her sister was actually her mother. And she had a hard time dealing with that. But, yeah, that's, when there's only 10 or 12 years between you, you know, there was some kind of foul play there. All right, next thing. Oh, this is so freaking sad. You couldn't really come up with this. If you made up a story, it wouldn't be as bad as this. I mean, this is horrible. This couple owned their own house, and they put their own house in their son's name because, well, they're older, and they figured when they die, they don't have to go through all the paperwork and all that. Or, well, they don't have to go, if they die, they're not going to have to go through the paperwork anyway. But they just figured it would be easier in the long run if their kids had the title for the house. Well, some people have no scruples. It says they left us with nothing. The elderly couple was evicted from their home of 20 years after their son transferred ownership. I can't even imagine, like you sign the title over to them, and then the son sells the house, and now you don't have a place to live. I know that would devastate me. It says an elderly couple was devastated when they were evicted. Served an eviction notice in April for their home that they've been making regular payments on for 2 decades. Ismael and Angelita Ramirez purchased their home in 2003 with their son, who told them they didn't need to include their name on the title. Just so sad. He told us they told him it wasn't necessary, and well, since we don't know English, that's where they lied to us. The eviction was reportedly stated that the owner of the home was selling the property, and the couple said they later learned that their son had transferred the home to a woman who sent them the notice. And although the couple tried to get legal help, there wasn't much the lawyer could do since the house wasn't in their name. We thought, why did our boy do that to us if he knew the house was ours? The Ramirezes were victims of elder abuse, which is far more common than you'd think. The National Council of Aging reports up to 5 million older Americans are affected each year, while victims of financial abuse are estimated to lose at least $36.5 billion a year. And almost 60% of the cases, the perpetrator is a family member, often an adult child or spouse of the victim. The Ramirezes were victims of elder abuse, which is far more common than, they have since been displaced, and their Social Security income wasn't enough to buy a new home or even afford rent. That left us with nothing. The other son, Ishmael Jr., created a GoFundMe, which has already received more than 1,600 donations. Let's see what it's at today. Today, it's at $54,824 of the $45,000 goal. I mean, that's just... I just can't even fathom why... how you could do that to your own family. I mean, even my bastardized family, for lack of a better word, I don't know. I just can't imagine anybody doing that. I mean, I guess maybe I could imagine my little brother doing it because he seems to have no scruples. And maybe my older brother. No, I don't even think he would do it. I mean, as much as, I don't know. I takes a special kind of scammer to do that. It's weird to think about that somebody would do that. I don't know. I don't know. That'd be really hard to believe. I mean, hard to understand. Says there's 5 ways to avoid being exploited as you get older. Appointment, power of attorney. Well, they kind of did that by giving the title to the son. That's not a good idea. That's one way. Keep track of your credit history. Okay, well, that still won't help them. Consult a good financial advisor. That still wouldn't help them. Watch out for scams. That still wouldn't have helped them because it was their son. Write up a living will. Still wouldn't have helped them because they signed their stuff over to their son. So, I don't know. Just there's a really sad state of people that are out there that would do that to their own family. And it's bad enough that they would do it to anybody, but to do it to your own family, that's just... I can't understand that. Because, I mean, I don't know. I've always tried to do the right thing, and, well, not always. I've not always tried to do the right thing, but I would have never done that to my family. I wouldn't have done that to anybody, though. Even my worst enemy, I wouldn't have sold their house out from under them. There is a certain amount of scruples. Certain amount. Not a lot. Anyway, okay, so we had an escaped convict that was out on the run for a while. He scaled the wall. It's crazy. The guy's name is Danilo Cavalcante, I'm going to say. he scaled the wall to get out of the prison. Now, first off, who would ever thought of doing that? And it's, I think we played the video when they did that. I think I played that on the show, and he was caught like the next week. But and he and my friend Danny lives down in that area where he was where he escaped from, and he was paranoid, as everybody in that area was, because this guy was he didn't have too many scruples. He killed his girlfriend, so he didn't really. He would be the kind of guy that would sell his family's house. Pennsylvania prison, where inmate Danilo Cavalcante scaled the wall to make his great escape, is making some changes. The Pennsylvania prison is making the changes to prevent a similar escape. So here's what he did. You know, if you take a look at this, yeah, they do have that one here. So here he is, and this is so creative, and he did it right in front of the camera. And whoever was supposed to watch the camera apparently didn't pay any attention to it. But he escaped that way, and that's a very unique way to think that, you know, to escape. So that was kind of weird that he did that.
Not all local.
Okay. So he crab walked, they called it, up the brick wall, dove through the barbed wire, and booked it across the roof to make his escape. We're told the new barrier prohibiting the roof access is behind the razor wire. And so he escaped this place here, the Chester County Prison. Prison guards were in the watchtower when Danilo escaped during exercise time in the yard. And we're told the guards will now be taking up new positions when the inmates are in the yard. We're also told Chester County Prison is assigning a guard to the prison roof, and they're reviewing surveillance procedures because Danilo's escape happened in plain view of the cameras. That's, to me, amazing. They should have had something that, I don't know, would have alerted them of this. So it's just crazy how the guy got away. But anyway, says after escape, he lived on watermelon and creek water, burying his poop to evade authorities for 2 weeks till he was ultimately captured about 18 miles from the prison. We're told Chester County commissioners also approved a contract to build a permanent enclosure over the prison yards, exercise yards. That's a long-term effect of Danilo's escape. After being caught, Danilo is locked up in SCI Phoenix, where he's being kept under a watchful eye in his cell, which he hardly ever leaves. Jeez. And like I said, he ended up killing his girlfriend, and not a very nice guy. But hey, those people were out there. There's another Prime Day coming. So if you are into Amazon Prime, there's going to be a Prime Day. It's part 2. It's coming in October. So I know that there's certain things that I want to get. I always get something. I try to get something because it's usually deals that you can't touch. So I usually try to, curtail my buying until that time so that I can take advantage of their deals. But, it really depends on how soon or when it's going to happen. But I believe the deal, it's coming up the second, we're going to see here in a second. It's, there we go. Have you heard the amazing Prime news? Last year, Amazon will be hosting, like last year, will be hosting an encore to Prime Day in October. The time around the sale is called Prime Big Day Deals. The event will offer exclusive deals to Prime members in 19 countries. This sale is your best opportunity to score doorbuster savings on electronics, home goods, and just about everything before the holidays. The sale will feature limited time, limited quantity deals, lightning deals, on a wide variety of clothing, bedding, laptops, headphones, Amazon branded gear, and more. You'll find the spotlight deals on big-name merchandise that will last throughout the 2-day shopping event. Plus, Amazon's offering some special invite-only deals that you can register for right now. These special quantity discounts include heavily discounted air fryers, runner-approved earbuds, and more popular items over 50% off. Not everyone that requests an invite will be granted one, so put your request in ASAP for a chance to shop the special deals on October 11th. You'll need to be an Amazon Prime to score the best deals. So there you go. I mean, I've bought all kinds of stuff on those stupid days because they are the best days for pricing. So if you aren't an Amazon Prime, this would be the time to do it, even if you only do it for a month, because for the price you'll save a lot of stuff. You'll save a lot of money for that. All right, let's see here. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, if you want a good deal on how to get to America, migrant smugglers now offer a special deal, a special package to get into the United States. Yeah, $10K. Travel packages filled with secrets to illegal border crossings. So if you want to have for all my people outside of the country, you can become an illegal resident and get shot by the police because your DNA and fingerprints are not going to be on the gun. Ugh. That's really sad. But anyway, what was that? Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, you can get a good deal on being smuggled. Migrant smugglers are now selling their secrets on how to enter the U.S. illegally as part of their package, offered to asylum seekers on social media for $10,000. The newly revealed move is being touted by people smugglers known as coyotes as part of what they call an essential package that offers step-by-step instructions on how to avoid Border Patrol through social media apps such as WhatsApp, Telegram, TikTok, and Facebook, according to the Mexico's National Institute of Migration. They are sold complete packages for $10,000 to bring them from, say, Colombia all the way to Tijuana. They are met with a guide who shows them where to cross and how to download further instructions. These are using digital platforms showing them routes, which are then shared with fellow countrymen. They also upload TikToks and Facebook posts detailing the crosses in real time so others know where to go. That's really... Is there any country that people want to get into more than the United States? I can't imagine. It's insane that people really want to get in that bad. I mean, I realize other countries some of them are pretty bad, but man, I just can't imagine that's just insane. Says migrants, where'd it go? Moved it. Here we go. Migrants, these are migrants from South or Central America who are paying anywhere from a total of $12,000 to $15,000 to get across the border and for further digital instructions. Smugglers convince them to sell all their properties and tell them someone will greet them when they get there, which oftentimes doesn't happen, and they end up stranded in Tijuana. Both Mexican and American authorities have ramped up warnings for migrants not to hire smugglers during a rise in violent incidents across the border, as coyotes are growing more and more desperate to conduct business under the ever-watchful eye of the Border Control. Last month, a Border Patrol agent confronting a group of migrants crossing into California through the Otay Mountain wilderness was shot at several times by a suspected smuggler. That's insane. I mean, you must really, I mean, I realize that that other areas, other countries are horrible situations, but man, why not just try to do it legally? This is kind of disgusting, but 14-foot alligator killed in Florida after eating a human torso. Woohoo! Cleaning up. Wonder if it was a migrant. Oh, no, it wasn't a migrant. Okay, here we go. I definitely don't want to be eaten by an alligator. All right, here we go. Oh, we got a video of it. I don't know if I want to watch that. You know what? I do want to watch it. I want to see it. I want to see if we can see anything or not, or is it going to be an ad? Watch on YouTube. Uh-oh. If it's going to be on YouTube, I could be in trouble. Now,
first on Fox, a gruesome discovery in...
How about if we delete that, delete the sound, and just watch the... there's the alligator. Okay. Because maybe we won't get in trouble then. There's the alligator. And I guess there's a torso in his mouth. Ooh. I can't even imagine having to deal with, like... First of all, why is the alligator... Oh, because there's water there. There's water in the area. But can't you outrun an alligator? I mean, the alligator isn't really fast. I would imagine that if you're walking and you see an alligator, you're not going to just walk towards him or anything. It's got to be something better than that. I don't know. I guess we're not going to see anything because they're going to interview people, so that kind of kills the whole point of having it. So that's, since we got the sound off. Oh, wait, here we are. There's the water. So where was the guy, I wonder? I wonder how close he was to the water. Let's see. A real-life monster tail had folded on Friday. 14-foot alligator was found with a dead body in its mouth. The scary incident occurred yesterday afternoon in the city of Largo, where the hungry reptile was slithering around the neighborhood, freaking out residents. Well, yeah, especially if there was a body in its mouth. One local was on his way to a job interview when he spotted the creature biting down on what appeared to be a portion of a mannequin. Then, Jamarcus Bullard got a better look, believing it could be a human torso in the jaws of the alligator. There's the guy. There's the alligator. Man, that's it. Man, if I saw an alligator that big, I wouldn't hang around. I'd be, I'd be out of there. It says Bullard told the news that he reported the grisly find to the fire department, which quickly responded and confirmed it was a human part. Ooh. The Pinellas County Sheriff's deputies said additional remains from the unidentified adult were found nearby, but no one else was injured. The alligator was humanely killed. See, that's the thing. The alligator was just doing what alligators do. Can a human outrun an alligator on land? Can you really escape an alligator if it ran in a zigzag? Well, alligators aren't that fast. If they're in water, they're fast. It's rare for an alligator to chase a human on dry land, and the average human could easily outrun an alligator, zigzagging or not. I mean, it's just crazy to think that people are, that close to alligators. I wouldn't want to be, I'd be afraid to be anywhere where an alligator is. That just, that scares me that, oh man. But yeah, I fought the gator and the gator won. All right, now next. Ooh, this one. We were talking about migrants and stuff, how they're avoiding the Border Patrol. And this is scary that that this is even happening. I mean, it's scary, first off, that people are trying to leave their country at any means necessary to leave their country. But when you hear this, you're going to, like, really be freaked out that this is even happening. What was on TV? Oh, he probably was talking. Okay. All right. Migrant children pictured howling in pain as they crawl through razor wire to reach the U.S. See, now, so I've got feelings about this because they're children. These are children. I mean, the adults have a choice. The children don't. Because the children have to go wherever their parents go. And I know that the parents want a better life for their children. But there's got to be a better way than to take them through razor wire. There's just got to be a better way. Okay. Photos capture the sheer desperation of humanitarian crisis playing out on the border, with families and even double amputee crawling through the sharp coils of wire to get a shot at claiming asylum in the United States. Migrants barely out of diapers are being dumped in the border by heartless cartels, which are using them as decoys to tie up the border agents so cartel members can shift drugs and gangsters over more remote areas of the border. Around 11,000 migrants crossed into the U.S. after the Mexico border from Sunday to Monday, making it the single highest day in recent memory. 11,000 migrants from Sunday to Monday. I mean, that's a whole lot of people. Where do these people think they're going? I mean, they don't have a place to stay, and they're so desperate to get out of that country. And 11,000 in one day. Where are they going? Where are they going to go? They're going to be, I mean, I don't know. Texas towns, including Eagle Pass and El Paso, have been flooded with thousands of people seeking refuge over the past week. Look at that. I mean, I can't even imagine going through that. And those poor little kids, they don't understand what's going on. I just don't even know. I feel bad for them. You know, I'm not against them being here. I'm against them being here the wrong way, because there's a right way to do it. I don't know. Migrants near Eagle Pass waded through the dangerous waters in the Rio Grande, the international border boundary, before getting stuck at the bottom of the riverbank for hours, unable to make their way into the U.S. due to concertina wire. Or is that no, it's concertina. After nearly a half day's wait, they become desperate and made their way up the bank. Video captured by the Post shows one Honduran woman crawling through the wire with her 3 sons, trying to shield them by putting her body between them and the sharp spikes. Video captured shows the Honduran woman's hair and clothes snagged in the razors. With the help of other migrants who used clothes as a buffer, the mom and kids were able to turn themselves over to the U.S. Border Patrol. As migrants saw that people made it across, they too made their way into the Rio Grande, risking potential drowning. At that point, Border Patrol dispatched a number of small boats to collect the migrants and bring them around the wire deterrents and onto the U.S. soil. The migrants will be detained, evaluated, and the officers will decide if they have strong enough cases to stay in the U.S. Jeez. It's sad. I mean, this is a woman here that she just looks, I don't know. I mean, they must really, really have a bad time where they're at to put themselves through that. You know, you have to worry about your kids being swept away in the river. You got to worry about, at least there's no alligators in the river, I guess. All right. Well, this is another migrant or another. They were saying about using the people as a distraction. They're a distraction for this. Mexican man caught trying to smuggle 400 pounds of cocaine in cucumbers. 400 pounds of cocaine. Why doesn't he just sell cucumbers? I'm sure it's not as much money, but 400 pounds of cocaine and cucumbers across the border. I mean, this drug stuff is amazing that they have so many different ways to deal with, to try to get the stuff across the border. I don't even know what 400 pounds of cocaine looks like. But I guess it looks like 400 pounds of cocaine looks like cucumbers. It's really weird to think about that, though. A Mexican man was arrested after trying to cross the border to California with more than 400 pounds of cocaine hidden inside of boxes of cucumbers. The smuggler, identified as a 33-year-old, arrived at Otay Mesa Port on September 15th with a tractor trailer carrying cucumbers. During the inspection, however, CBP officers found 146 packages of cocaine tucked away inside cucumber shipments. Altogether, officials seized 401.68 pounds of cocaine from the truck. The bus came just 2 days after another Mexican national was arrested at the same entry port while hauling gas tanks in a tractor trailer. Jeez. The inspection of the gas tanks revealed they actually contained 663 pounds of liquid meth, which was seized via 22 5-gallon buckets. Wow. That's just amazing. Oh, so they wrapped the cocaine in cucumbers. Jeez. Truck was flagged for inspection following a similar smuggling attempt last month. Officials noted the combined value of the cucumbers and meth seized in September totaled more than $5.3 million. Both Mexican men were arrested and placed in custody of Homeland Security, which is investigating the cases. Jeez, look at that. This isn't the first time they were caught trying to sneak hundreds of pounds of drugs through the port via vegetable crates. In April, a 48-year-old driver was taken into custody after trying to smuggle 800 pounds of fentanyl inside a tractor trailer transporting green beans. Jeez. And in August, as of August, the CPB has seized nearly 900 pounds of drugs at the border this year, a sharp increase from 60,000 pounds confiscated last year. That's just amazing. I mean, that's. Well, that's the last Border Patrol story. So now we got other fun stories. Here's the one I wanted to talk about, where I think that the family is asking an unheard of amount of money. And they're blaming the superintendent because the child killed themselves. And so the thing that I have issues with is not that I was bullied all my life up until I became an adult. Even after I became an adult, I was bullied for a while. But the part that I think bothers me the most, they want $27 million. The superintendent was fired after $27 million lawsuit settlement with a boy who died in a bully attack. Okay, so I was bullied and I didn't die. That's good, I guess. California school superintendent was axed just days after the district was ordered to pay $27 million settlement to a family of a 13-year-old boy who died following an attack by bullies at his middle school. Okay. My thoughts on this are weird, so I'm sure I'm going to be in the minority here. $27 million is a lot of money. And how much of that was the school's fault? I know what it's like to be bullied. I was bullied. I was attacked in school. Back then, they didn't take bullying seriously at all. Now, I didn't get killed, obviously. But $27 million, that's not going to bring the boy back. It's not going to punish the people that did the crime. So I just don't know where that number, $27 million, came from. I'm not saying the parents or the family shouldn't get some money. But I think $27 million is a lot of money. California superintendent was axed just days after the district was ordered to pay $27 million settlement to the family of a 13-year-old boy who died following an attack by bullies at his middle school. Now, first off, what happened to those bullies? Hopefully they went to jail. But of course, because they're 13 or whatever age that is, they're not going to go to jail, probably. The Moreno Valley Unified School District Board of Education voted 3-2 Tuesday to remove Dr. Martin Rex Kedziora following a 3-hour meeting behind closed doors. Kedziora, who served the district since 2017, was fired less than a week after the board after the board agreed to pay the settlement to the family of Diego Stoltz, who died after being assaulted by classmates in 2019. The 8th grader's aunt and uncle, his legal guardians, said the school officials were aware of bullying that Diego suffered, but did nothing to prevent it, even after assuring them that the issue was resolved. The grieving family claimed the bullies were never suspended, allowing the fatal assault to take place at the Landmark Middle School in September 2019. See, the problem is those kids are criminals, and they're going to be criminals for the rest of their life, and they're not going to be regretting doing this. And they should go after the family of those two kids, and those two kids should be put to death for the death of that kid. And I know they're only 13, they shouldn't be put to death. Well, they know how to kill somebody. That makes them, at that age, that makes them dangerous for the rest of their life. And I don't know, I have a hard time with bullies as it is, but a bully that kills somebody is the worst kind of bully, because if they taste the killing and don't have to pay for the killing, and at 13, what are you going to have to pay? Nothing. You don't have to pay anything. Your family has to pay. So now this kid's dead, and these two kids that killed him are on the street. Graphic video captured the minute Diego was attacked by one of the teens, who sucker punched him in the face. After the strike, Diego could be seen stepping back for a second before the second student nails him in the back of the head, causing the 13-year-old to go down and hit his head against a pillar. The blows left Diego with traumatic brain injury and he died just 9 days later. Despite pleading guilty to manslaughter charges, the bully served 47 days in juvie. The incident left the community in shock, with parent Urania Berra cheering the ouster of Kedzoria, whom she accused of being hands-off when it came to issuing of the bullying in the district. He's leaving everything to the teachers. See, if you kill those two if you put those two to death for killing that boy, they will see no more killing at that school. The problem is we're not tough on crime. We're letting kids get away from it. 40, whatever it was, that's ridiculous. If you kill somebody, intentionally beat somebody up, and it leads to killing, that's no different than holding a gun to their head and accidentally shooting the gun, or shooting the gun. And these kids, they aren't going to, I'm sorry, that's just not acceptable. If that guy had hit me with that hammer when I was in high school, that came after me for no reason whatsoever, he just went after me because I didn't instigate it. I don't even know why he went. Well, look, I said it last week that my brother had claimed that he paid someone to do that. And it might have been him, for all I know. But whatever. If that person had actually killed me, if he had hit me with that hammer on the head, I could have died. And if he would have only gotten 45 days of detention or whatever in juvie, that wouldn't have been good enough. There's just no way that anybody should have gotten 45 days for an actual murder. That they should be put to death. Those two kids should be put to death. Or at least, I don't say keep them in jail for the rest of their lives, because they're never going to be good citizens. They're just not going to be. They already proved that they're not going to be good. They don't have any regrets to be killing a kid. I know what it's like to be bullied. And chances are that kid didn't even do anything to get that. These kids come up and they think they can strike fear into somebody by, numbers for one. It was 2 against 1. And I have problems with that kind of thing going on, because bullying is a much more serious thing than we give it credit for. And if you don't punish the ones that did it, and I mean harshly punish, if you don't, then you're not taking that into account, that it's a serious thing they did. You're letting them get away with it for 45 days or 47 days or whatever it said. That's a major thing. I would be all over putting them down. They should put those two down. Both of those, and same with those two that were driving in that car and ran over that police officer. I mean, there's 4 people that have nothing to add to our society. They laughed at killing someone, and they videotaped it. And these two, I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's not that really, it's not that complicated. You got to send a message to the assholes that did the so that there won't be another situation like that. It's crazy. I realize I'm in the minority here, but as one who was bullied, I can understand this, and I feel that someone should pay for this. This is a pretty serious thing, and to let them get away with a slap on the wrist isn't right. It isn't right to the family. I mean, rather than give them, if you said to them, "We'll give you a choice. We'll give you $27 million, or we'll kill them." I would rather get no money and have the perpetrators die, because they're not going to be rehabilitated. There's probably not showing any remorse. I don't know. Okay, next thing. This next one's really confusing. So I'm going to try to say it the best way I can say it. And this is another one that I strongly really feel that my way is the right way for this one. And I'm not alone in this one in particular, but I really feel now that I'm going to say this because I know there's a lot of people out there that believe that mental illness is a good excuse for doing things. You can let people go because of mental illness. In this case, I don't think so. So here's the story. This woman, this girl, and this woman. So we got the daughter. She's a 20. Yeah, the daughter's 23 years old. The daughter killed her mother by beating her with an iron skillet and stabbing her dozens of times because she found the younger woman had been kicked out of college. All right? Sidney Powell of Akron was found guilty of murder, felonious assault, and tampering with evidence in the brutal death of a healthcare worker, Brenda Powell. So Sidney killed her mother and tampered with evidence, and she brutally killed her mother. She didn't just kill her mother. She killed her mother with an iron skillet and stabbing her dozens of times because the younger woman had been kicked out of college. In March of 2020, Powell struck Brenda Powell in the head with an iron skillet. A 50-year-old woman had been struck by her daughter in the head with a skillet, then stabbed her nearly 30 times in the neck. Powell, a former Mount Union University student, sobbed in the Summit County Common Pleas courtroom after a jury found her guilty. Well, that's a big surprise that she's guilty. Police found Brenda inside Scuttle Drive home with severe injuries on March 30th, 2020. She and her then 19-year-old daughter were taken to the hospital where Brenda died. Now, this girl actually expects to be let go. She doesn't expect to go to jail or anything. I would have killed her. I would have said, this is another girl that deserves to die. Now she's claiming mental illness. Okay, so I don't care if it's mental illness or not. You killed somebody. And not only did you kill somebody, you killed your mother. And not only did you kill your mother, but you pounded her with a skillet and then stabbed her in the neck. I'm sorry, that doesn't... Oh, it was an accident. No, it wasn't an accident. An accident is when you drive down the street and you get hit by somebody who wasn't looking, and it was an accident. Or somebody who, that's not an accident when you're stabbing your mother with a knife. Prosecutors said Powell attacked her mother, a child specialist at the Akron Children's Hospital, while she was on the phone with officials from her school. During the trial, the defense argued Sidney suffered from schizophrenia and therefore could not be held accountable for her murder. I'm sorry, I don't care which of you did it. If you're schizophrenic, I don't care which of you killed somebody. You killed somebody. And therefore, you should be sentenced to death. along with those 2 kids in high school who killed that little boy. Man, just the more I read about this stuff, and she's crying. Don't cry, you killed your mother. Says Sylvia Obradovich, a psychologist hired by the prosecutors, disagreed with the diagnosis and said Sidney didn't meet the legal definition of insanity at the time of the crime, and that's good. Let's keep it that way. Obradovich acknowledged that Sidney suffers from mental issues, including borderline personality traits, malingering, and anxiety disorder. It don't matter. If you're well enough to kill somebody, you're well enough to die, in my eyes. And there's the mother. And she was a child care person. She was probably a really good person. It's just weird. I mean, and she didn't stab her just once. She stabbed her multiple times. She had to switch weapons and kept attacking her. And that's because she got kicked out of school. So really, does that make sense? I mean, how bad? If you've got that kind of, even if you're not schizophrenic, if you've that kind of temper, you can't be saved. Just really weird. And of course, you know, she's getting to live. She gets to live her life knowing her mother doesn't. All right, this is a weird story, and nobody killed him. Oklahoma firefighter dies in rock climbing accident after beating stage 4 cancer. Kind of reminds me of the movie Final Destination, where you're supposed to die, and you're going to die one way or the other, whether it's going to be cancer or rock climbing. Those people that do rock climbing, they're nuts to begin with. They hang upside down over cliffs and stuff like that. I don't know. I had some friends in college that were into rock climbing and all that stuff, and they're the greatest people that do American Ninja Warrior, because they're fearless. Those people, that's crazy. An Oklahoma firefighter and dad of 3 kids died in a rock climbing accident last week, just 3 years after beating stage 4 cancer. Levi Wilkins, 36, an avid climber and self-described alpinist, died while climbing Friday, his wife announced in a social media post. He was most incredible husband and father and son, brother and friend, she wrote in a post. Having been together since we were 16, I don't know how to do life without him, and I never wanted to learn. Wilkins went through 4 rounds of chemotherapy and surgery to remove a cancerous tumor and a single dose of radiation therapy, completing treatment in March 2020. After beating cancer, he lived big. He believed every day was a gift, and it brings a great comfort to know how happy he was doing what he loved and when his time came. The Norman Fire Department said the news of the death crushed its staffers, and it's difficult to express just how hard it is. When we learned of Levi's passing yesterday, the department said in a statement, a few years ago he courageously battled cancer and came out stronger on the other side. He lived to the fullest. Me, if I had gotten past cancer, I would have lived every day as if it was a gift, because it was a gift. I mean, geez. I mean, I realize that I am alone on that, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I've been close to death 4 times. When I was 22, I had lung surgery. That was pretty bad. It was, they didn't know if I was going to live or die. I was on a breathing machine. There's nothing scarier than being on a breathing machine. Tracheotomy, you know. Before I had the tracheotomy, I had the big thing inside my mouth, and you couldn't talk. And all you could do was just, you're so drugged up that they give you a board with these letters on, and you're supposed to spell out whatever you wanted, and you can't do it. You can't move your hand and figure out where it's going to go, because you're like drugged up because you're dying. I mean, and that was the one time. Then I was good for 20 more years, and I had a surgery, and it was done wrong, and I had to go back in, but the doctor gave me surgery, and when he sent me home, I coughed, and my stitches broke, so I went abscessed. Whew. That was the weirdest thing. I was at home, and my wife was at work, and after I coughed, I remember everything went wacky, and I said, I called her on the phone at work. We lived 10 miles from where I worked, and where she worked. And I remember I couldn't even talk. I called her up and I said, help me. And she came home as fast as she could. And we had an ambulance here, and it was the first time I was taken away in an ambulance. And that was the second time. Then the third time, I had, the third time was, I had a stroke. Is that the third time? In 2012. And seems to me I'm missing one. There was another one that I went to the hospital. I'm trying to remember where I was. I was over in Camp Hill, and I don't remember what happened that I couldn't breathe right. And they had to take me in an ambulance to somewhere, to the Harrisburg Hospital. What was I sent there for? Something happened there. That's 3. And then 4 was the stroke. And then 5. 5 times. I've got, out of the 9 lives, I've only got 4 left. The 5th one was a couple years ago. I was really sick. It's like I was at band practice, and we were doing our stuff, and like all of a sudden I started feeling really weird, and I was breathing heavy and stuff, and this is before COVID, I think. Or was it during COVID? It was during COVID. And I was breathing heavily, and it went away then. And I promised that if it didn't go away, if it happened again, I was going to go to the hospital. So the next day, I woke up, and I went and got some meds that I had to pick up. And I came back, and while I was looking at the meds, I started sweating and breathing funny again. And I went to the hospital, and they said if I hadn't gone to the hospital, I would have died. I had sepsis, and it was from a UTI, which was a rare UTI. So they said that if I hadn't gone to the hospital, I would have been dead later on that day. So that's 5 times. 5 times I've almost died. So believe me, I'm thankful for every second I have, and I'm actually impressed that I'm still alive after the things I've done. And the fact that most of my dad's side are dead. And he lived he had like 15 brothers and sisters, and they're all dead. And they all died before they were 50, except one. One was like 69 when he died. But whew, I'll tell you, I don't want to mess with. I don't mess with death. Death is definitely. I'm sure my number was up sometime, and I just defeated it once, and that's it. But I seem to have defeated it 5 times. Wish I could remember why I went to the hospital now. It was something. I'm going to have to do some thinking about that. I just remembered that I had that. I remember taking that ambulance ride because it was the hardest ambulance ride. Well, ambulance rides are not really comfortable anyway, but now I'm thinking about death. Ugh. Okay, got to stop thinking about death. Except I got this next one. I probably shouldn't do this one because this one will make my sister cry. Oh. See how maybe I could skip that one. I think I'll skip that one. I don't want to make my sister cry. I don't like to make her cry. Oh, this one's just as bad though. I'm going to do this one now. The mom who gave her daughters, 15 and 5, melatonin gummies before fatally shooting them gets 78 years. See, here's another one. This is another one I don't understand. Is Faye still alive? Okay, I didn't know that. This is another one that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so she kills both of her daughters. She shoots them. She shoots both of her daughters. And the thing about her, okay, she was a stripper at one point. And I guess maybe it's a stripper mentality. I don't know. So she was going through a divorce, I think, if I remember that correctly. I'm going to have to double check that one. Okay, here we go. Virginia mother who sedated her daughters with melatonin gummies before fatally shooting them 5 years ago was sentenced to 78 years in prison. See, now, this is another person. 78 years in prison. Okay, she's not going to be, she's 38 now. Just kill her. Just kill her. There's no reason to keep her around. She's already shown that she is not a responsible person. Anyway, she was handed the hefty sentence after this former sex worker was convicted of two counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of felony firearm use in March. She shot her daughters, Sharon Castro and Brooklyn Youngblood, in their beds in their McLean apartment after drugging them with melatonin. Brooklyn, who died at the scene, was shot once in the head, and Sharon was struck in the back and once in the chest, later died in the hospital. The teen was able to call 911 after being shot to inform the dispatcher that her mother pulled the trigger. Jurors who heard Sharon's call during the 2-week trial were so traumatized by it that they asked if they could receive therapy. Youngblood told detectives that she planned to kill them and herself following a protracted custody dispute. As the teenage daughter lay dying, she called her ex-husband, Ron Youngblood, to tell him that she hated him and she'd shot her children. He had originally planned to move to Missouri with the girls, but agreed to take Brooklyn at his ex's behest. Youngblood bought the handgun she used to take the daughters' lives 9 days before the disturbing slayings. The mom of 2 grew up in Argentina, calling herself a good mother at the sentencing, saying something happened in her brain. Again, kill her. Just kill her. She's not going to be, rather than let our tax dollars pay for her to live, there's no reason. She proved that she's a killer, and she's not going to be any good. I mean, when she gets out, if she gets out of jail, she's 38, or say 40, and she gets 78 years. Let's say she at 40, let's say she gets 20 years, and then she gets probation. So at 60, she comes out. It's not like she's going to go out and work and help people, you know. There's no reason to keep her around. She should just die, and maybe do it the right way. Let's shoot her in the back and then in the head and let her bleed out like her daughters did. Let her feel what her daughters felt. I don't understand why we're so nice to these people. There's no reason to keep these people alive. I don't know. All right, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something fun. Worst rated tourist sites across the globe. And you'll be surprised at what they are, because I would not have thought that these would be the worst ones, but somebody, I guess they were voted worst tourist sites. But it's kind of funny that the ones that they have chosen, because I could think of worst ones just off the top of my head. We've got one down the street here that's, we've got our own Statue of Liberty. That would be a worst one. And the number one, I disagree with them totally. I just, it's funny because I just thought, when we get there, I'll explain what it is. Okay, so the worst tourist sites that they say is the worst tourist sites. Number 4, Busch Gardens in Florida. 335-acre animal theme park welcomes 4 million visitors a year, many wanting to chase the thrill of roller coasters while taking stock of majestic animals. The Tampa Bay attraction, which lives in the shadow of Orlando amusement parks, was poorly rated for the second time for accommodations. It got 6.6 out of 10. All right, that's number 3, the Taj Mahal in India. The massive mausoleum of white marble built in Agra between 1631 and 1648 by the order of the Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his favorite wife. Oh, I keep forgetting some places have more than one. He deserves a trophy for having more than one wife and living. It's a whopping 136 miles from the closest airport, making it the tourist destination farthest away from an international airstrip. Also contributed to its low marking. It's one of the most iconic and admired pieces of architecture in the world, but some argue it may not be worth the trip. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go there just to see it. I can see it in pictures. I don't need to see it. The Grand Bazaar in Turkey. The Grand Bazaar is in Istanbul, maybe the world's oldest shopping mall, but just like many of malls across the globe, shoppers aren't interested. With 4,000 shops to entice tourists, the Grand Bazaar scored poorly on most marketers, thanks to the highest risk tourist safety score of 2.8 of 5, and the lengthy trek to the airport, 28 miles. Why would you go to Turkey anyway? I mean, I can't imagine. And then the number one Hollywood Walk of Fame in California. See, I disagree with this one. I like to go there. I enjoyed to go there. I mean, it's not a place I would go to every day. It's not a place I would, think. I thought it was kind of cool. I hope someday to have, one of the stars. But the thing is about the stars, I mean, everyone that doesn't know, those stars cost you money. I mean, it's not like you get a star on the Walk of Fame and they pay for it. For you to get a star on the Walk of Fame, you have to pay for it. And it's like $15,000 or something like that. It's a lot of money. But I liked it. I loved it because of all the stars that are there. I just thought it was cool. And, but see, that's how some people would claim, like, California is worse than Istanbul. I'm sorry, I can't buy that. Or India. I mean, seriously, who's gonna go there? I'm not gonna go there. It's crazy. If I was gonna go to a foreign country, it would probably be Japan. I would love to go to Japan. Love to see Japan. I would even like to see China. I thought that would be kind of cool. I don't know. I just think that the ratings that they have for that stuff are a little bit kind of weird. I mean, to put the Hollywood Walk of Fame in with India, I don't know. You don't have to spend as much money to go to California as you do to India or Turkey. That's just crazy. And Busch Gardens, I can't imagine it being that bad. I mean, I've been in some parks and I'm not really a big rider of rides anyway, but I don't know. I don't think that Busch Gardens should be in there with India or Istanbul. I don't know. The people who did that really picked some really bizarre things to put together. I would put the you do if you're in Indiana and want to go to California. Yeah, well, that's where all the scammers are, so they have plenty of cash to do that. No, not really. Those people in India don't really get a lot of cash for their stuff. But I think that's a little bit skewed. I'd like to see the top 10, and I don't see anywhere where those particular... There are some people... How about if you go to the border of Mexico and Texas? That would be a bad tourist attraction. See all these people get their hands and legs and hair screwed up because of the things that stop the people from coming over the freaking border. Here's a weird one. This one is not a death one. It's not a negative one. It's a weird one. I tried the Scandinavian sleep method, and it could save marriages. Do you know what the Scandinavian method is? I didn't know what the Scandinavian method is, but I'll tell you, I've been doing it for probably 40 years, 30 years, at least 30 years I've been doing it. And it's kind of like doing the intermittent fasting. I didn't know I was doing that either. But this is like the intermittent fasting to me, because I was doing it a long time ago. And so, okay, what is it? Tell us what it is. That's what it is. So what it is people that sleep together, often one of us will lose our blankets because the other person is a blanket hog. Well, the Scandinavian sleep method is you both get your own blankets. It actually is pretty good. It says some couples are swearing by the Scandinavian sleep method to help them get shut-eye next to their blanket-hogging spouse. The practice, popularized by Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, touts that using twin blankets as opposed to one big blanket is the way to go. Influencer Erica Stoltzman Dowdy, I hate those people with three names. Why couldn't she just be Erica Dowdy? Says the Scandinavian sleep method could save marriages. In a video that has over 3.3 million views, she strips what looks to be a king-size mattress and then makes the bed anew, covering each half with its own single-person size comforter. I've been doing that forever. The Scandinavian sleep method is an absolute game changer. 10 out of 10 recommends. Her video caption reads, and in the video she explains that her and her husband went to Copenhagen in Denmark, where she learned the sleep trick and decided to implement it at home. She also opted fun colors in her decor, which is less about getting good shut-eye and more about making her room pleasing to the eye. So there you go. That's how you get more. Well, of course, some of us don't really have that issue because, well, I guess you could if you're sleeping with your dogs and they take all your pillows and blankets and all that. Some of our followers also said the sleep method has been a dream come true for their co-sleeping arrangements. Once you sleep with two comforters, you'll never go back to only one. My husband is from Germany, and we've always done this. My favorite way to make the bed is to fold each twin and turn it sideways. Fits perfectly. Yep, hubby and I have had our own comforter for over a decade, the best. Yes, that's the only way to do it. So, but I think it's kind of funny how that's a Scandinavian method. Wow, it's 10 o'clock. I could leave on a good note. Let me see if I have any funny ones. Yeah, that's not funny. That's not funny. Ooh, that's not funny. All right, we'll leave on this one. This one will be a good one. Shirtless man and his dog lead the LAPD on a 10-mile chase. I've seen every once in a while I go on YouTube and they have live chases of criminals that are taking the police on a sightseeing tour, if you will, of different things. And actually, it's not a sightseeing tour at all. It's actually a frustrating tour because they'll put strips out on the road and stuff. But this guy here didn't have that problem. He had a different problem because the car chase was him and his dog in a golf cart. So, shirtless man and his dog lead LAPD on a 10-mile chase in a golf cart. What is up with people? People are so weird. It says, maybe I can, let's see if this has sound before I don't want to put the sound on and have problems because if it's a YouTube, I can't do it.
I've always had dreams.
You always have dreams, I always had dreams of people that didn't have commercials in the middle of one of their articles so that we could just, see the article without the dream of his. So, come on, get done. Done, come on, finish up. I don't care. You have very good skin. Okay, that's really nice. Why can't we get through this? This is a long ad. Okay, hopefully this will do it now. All right, go ahead. So, here he is, a shirtless man and his dog in a street chase. The dog's liking it. Probably doesn't like the loud noises, though. I don't know what he did, but the fact that he's being chased down and the dog's sitting there like, why are you doing this? Why are we going to jail? We both going to jail or just you? Oh, it's nuts. Let's see what he did. Let's see. Okay, so it says here, video shows a suspected drunk driver giving cops the slip during a 10-mile chase through the streets of California while shirtless and driving a golf cart with a dog on his lap. Well, that dog looks really confused. He's like, what happened? Why are we here? News helicopters films several LA Police Department squad cars with lights flashing, sirens blaring, following the cart late Sunday after it was reported stolen from San Fernando Valley Shopping Center. Onlookers could be heard cheering and laughing as the suspect, only wearing shorts, nonchalantly drove the security cart with the dog on his lap while being chased through the busy streets, including multi-lane main roads. At times, officers jumped out of their cars trying to grab him, just for him to repeatedly evade them, even though the cart has a top speed of 19 miles per hour. Cops even tried to use spike strips without success before the suspect was finally boxed in at a 7-Eleven parking lot about 10 miles from where the chase started. This is so weird. Isn't that a bit overkill? 5 cop cars. Yes, it is. And I think they should kill him. No, not him. I mean, but this is so strange that a guy would you know, I guess when you're drunk, it doesn't route. Nobody really cares. And so that's what we'll do for the last video of the night. And so, anyway, thank you for stopping in. If you enjoyed the show, we'll talk to you next week.